What's good? It's DJ Shraii here with the Musical Movements podcast, and I'm here with
Ambo Magic.
man like Ambo. How are you doing? You alright?
I'm good. Not bad. Not bad.
Your wedding's actually quite soon. A few months to go. How's the prep?
A few months. Yeah, about basically
Five months, right?
something like that. Yeah. But to be honest with you, it's been like 3 or 4 years in the making
Oh,
because
really?
it was supposed to be in 2020, and then
For sure.
obviously 2020 happened. Um,
Let's not go there,
that's a wipe out.
especially for DJs. Let's what 2020? What? I don't
Yeah.
remember that year.
What was that year
Was that a
again?
year?
Yeah. So, but like, I obviously I was in the same boat as so many people,
Yeah.
having to postpone and
Well, a lot of our clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I was seeing it from both sides of the coin of actually seeing like, okay,
Yeah.
as a DJ, as a supplier, and then at the same time as a client, and it was just like it's so crazy because I was like, what do we do? My missus, she was just like, with both of us, anxiety levels through the roof, trying to figure out how are we gonna postpone this, scramble around, trying to find dates because we've already got all of our other
Mm.
suppliers booked in, be it priest, decor, photographers, video.
Well, I was going to ask you actually because obviously obviously you're a DJ that does weddings, but then you're getting married.
Mhm.
I, how did you feel when suppliers that you might have booked or people or things that you might have booked were like, A, maybe we can't give you a refund, or B, maybe we're not going to be available for your new date and stuff. How did you, because as a DJ who understands the booking process, how did you, like, what would you, because I was thinking about it and I was like, if I was in that position, I'd be like so nice to all the suppliers. But I also understand if I put 10k deposits and 5k deposits for certain bits and bobs, it'd be like, oh my god, I need that back because I got a wedding to pay for.
Mhm.
So how did you?
Yeah, I mean, so I was more. I would say I was in a much more fortunate position in that all the suppliers that I've booked, or
Yeah,
majority of the suppliers I've booked, I know personally, and they were very very accommodating in terms of not no any extra charges, and to be fair, everybody knew that even though it was a really difficult situation in terms of loss of work,
Mm.
finance, etc. Um, it was more from a moral perspective
Oh, just
of
being
like
nice. Yeah,
just
yeah.
being
Mm.
nice and knowing that that's going to come back round because in the same way we had to postpone a lot of events or cancel and give back refunds and things. That's going to come round in the long run
Yeah.
as being okay. Well, you know, they were really good suppliers to work with because they were very accommodating with us in that respect. But um, we it was more about trying to find a date that all of our suppliers could all do
All do at
together.
the same time.
And we had a situation because we originally our Indian wedding we postponed to 2021, and then managed to get everything in. I think only one of our suppliers couldn't do the date, which is a
Right.
bit of a shame. But it wasn't like a,
But you got majority of them there, right?
yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah, we had a live painter, Stephanie. Yeah,
Oh,
Stephanie.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
she's amazing. But she couldn't do that date, which is a little bit of a shame. But it was just like, okay, well, it is what it
You
is.
have to sacrifice a few things here and there,
Exactly.
and it was a weird time.
So then we did our civil, got that done over and done with a month later during the lockdown.
How was that?
That was wicked actually, because
Yeah,
really we originally already planned it to be small.
yeah,
So 30 people was kind of where we were
bro.
roughly around
You know
about.
what? Civils. I feel like. I mean, this podcast was supposed to be about speeches, but I think this is a good idea because
Yeah.
civils. I feel like I don't know why so many people get invited to the civil. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Well, the thing is it's down. It's each to their own. But the thing is with the civil, I find it to be. It should be a little bit more intimate. If you're having,
Yeah,
okay, fair enough. If you're having bigger other events, or even if your smaller events are if your other events are smaller, then you could do something bigger for the civil. But the civil tends to be. It's just half an hour. It's
yeah.
very short, and it's nicer to have it a bit more intimate with your immediate friends and family there.
I
And
think
this way, so what we did actually, we did something completely that I'd never seen before. Neither me and my other half, we'd not seen it done before. We got married in the Roman baths
wow.
in Bath,
Okay.
and we just it was really just randomly off the cuff. We basically went there just to go like for a little break, and went there and
What is it, like a
saw.
spa thing? Is it?
No, it's like
What
it's
is?
the historic Roman baths.
Yeah, but what is it
It's
now?
some
Like
no, so it's a UNESCO World
oh,
Heritage
it's a
site.
thing. You can go
Yeah,
and
you
see
can go
it.
and visit
Okay,
it. It's
right,
owned by
right.
the council and run by
I
the
feel like
council.
I've probably been there, but
You probably have,
yeah,
like in the Great Bath. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. But it was really, really nice. We just literally just randomly came across it, saw a picture of somebody getting married there.
no
Literally
way.
booked it the next week.
Serious.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal.
And you just had obviously, well, COVID meant that you had to have close, was
Yeah.
it a limit of 30 or
I
whatever
mean,
it was.
we originally planned to have, I think, 30 or 40 people
Yeah.
there. But obviously, we were again really lucky because that weekend that we had booked as our postponed date
Yeah.
was on the Friday. They announced that on the Monday the numbers were going down to 15.
Mm.
Yeah, and but we still had to have 30. That 30 included all of our suppliers, so
Supplies.
video, photo, also and the registrars as well.
So it's really like 12,
We
like
had
20 people.
20, yeah, 20,
Yeah.
22 people we had
Yeah.
in total there. But it was actually a really, really nice thing. The annoying part was we couldn't have we didn't know that whether we were gonna be able to have a dinner
Yeah.
afterwards because of the numbers and because of we couldn't do a tasting.
Yeah.
So it was literally just pick some
Off the
things
cuff, yeah.
off the menu.
Well,
and-
sometimes it goes like that, and
Yeah.
sometimes those
Mm.
sort of spontaneous things work
Yeah.
out. So
And it really worked out
I'm
nicely.
sure
So it was
yeah.
literally our immediate family. And again, going back to previous podcasts where Vish and I were talking about destination weddings
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
things
yeah.
in the UK, it was an opportunity just to get our immediate friends and family away for the weekend. Booked
yeah, yeah.
hotels and it was really, really nice, really chilled out, and like everyone was just very relaxed and just away for the weekend. And we went and did some punting.
Punting. Wow.
Yeah, so British, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah. So, but yeah, that was
Good.
nice.
And
then
as a DJ,
Mm.
obviously, or as a supplier of music to these events like the civils, so obviously you have your entrance track, you walk in, or she walks in rather. Before that, you have a bit of background going on, and then the signing bit. Do you ever play some stuff when there's a couple
Yeah.
of tracks,
Yeah.
and then the exit song?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, like for us, we just had a violinist
Nice.
come in and play. Oh, what's her name? I've forgotten her name, but she's amazing.
Yeah.
So just did that as a walk-in, and then a couple of tunes for the signings going on.
Oh, sick.
And
yeah.
then and then some background music whilst everyone's grabbing a champagne,
Perfect.
you know, and then just straight out. It's very, very straightforward, very, very quick. It's quicker than people think it's going to be. So it's
half an
almost
hour,
like
innit?
you don't need to think about it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when your time comes. I'm sure every auntie's telling you that.
You're next. You're next. I'm like, let's see. All right, chill out. Yeah.
Relax.
Enjoy this wedding first.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but well, the whole point of the pod was to talk about. I keep calling it the pod, but it was we're also on
fine, mate.
YouTube, by the way. Yeah. So the whole point of this whole episode was to talk about speeches. Do you ever agree with a speech in a civil? Because I've seen it done.
It's give or take. It can be done, and it's fine because again, a civil's a lot more intimate.
Yeah.
And it's a nice way to kind of maybe get a speech out of the way.
Well, it was actually a bride.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if it was it must have been at the end, before they did their exit thing. She was basically just saying like she wanted to give it. Basically, her speech was she wanted to give a speech, but not at the reception. She wanted to give it to a more intimate audience, if you like, and she did it there, and it was really nice. She started crying as usual. At civil, there's a lot of tears at civils, so it made sense. But yeah, that was quite a good touch. I quite liked it. Can't lie.
Do you feel like sometimes with speeches, it's like conventionally, you don't really get to hear from a bride. Like,
yeah, I don't
conventionally,
get why though.
you
Like
don't hear from a bride.
traditionally, it was a bit weird for the bride,
Yeah.
but now it's just like we're 2022.
Exactly.
If the bride wants to say a few words, who's going to stop?
I did a wedding a couple of years back actually for a friend of mine, and both the bride and groom did speeches, but the bride's one was actually a little bit of a surprise. She only told me about it, and the planner.
That's usually the case, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because she did a very, very short few words, and she's a singer as well.
Oh wow.
So she sang a tune
Oh,
for
wicked.
her husband, and that was a really, really cool way to do it.
Take note.
That was a really cool way to do it, and yeah, it was a nice little touch, and then obviously straight into the groom speech. But like, how many speeches do you think is? What do you think is a magic number?
Okay, this is a really important question because I feel like everyone has their own opinion, but from experience, in my opinion, what I would suggest is the first thing you do after your entrance and your cake is take a seat and let the father of the bride or the groom, one of the fathers basically, usually the father of the bride, say a few words because he's got the nicest, most welcoming speech out of anyone that's going to speak tonight, right? So let him have a speech. Then you go into your, let's just say it's mains and desserts, right? So get that speech done, go into mains. Then you got maybe a sibling of the bride, the best man, and the groom. Bang all three out. Groom can then, at the end of his speech, invite his now wife to the dance floor for the first dance. Party starts. Bam.
Yeah,
That's what I say. I say 4, maybe 5, maximum 10 minutes each. Max.
10 minutes each.
Maximum.
You mean 10 minutes each session or 10 minutes each speech?
Speech.
That's a bit long, mate.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I give people a limit of 5 to 10 minutes.
I'd say 5 at the most.
I say 5, but it's never 5, is it?
Yeah, but you kind of just you gotta give them a bit of a limit because the thing is like.
Oh yeah, no, I do.
You know,
but
like,
it's never 5. They never do it in 5 minutes. If I say 5 to them, I say 5 to everyone. It's on my notes.
Yeah.
Like I send them out a thing and I say 5 minutes per speech. But it's
you
always
add that little bit.
I always double it. It's always going to be 10, 15 minutes for sure.
But I still think like when you're speaking, when you're speaking in like in front of people.
Yeah.
1 minute is a very long time.
Oh mate, yeah.
You know,
yeah, for sure.
like you do radio as well. You know, I've done radio as well, and you know how long time is to do a link.
Mate, sometimes when they say, right, you got 1 minute, 13 seconds to talk, and you're like, I've got this under control. Yeah. And then you start and you're like, oh my God.
I'm only 15
seconds. Yeah, I've got 45 seconds to go. What do I say? So, yeah, you got a point there. Yeah. But some people do like to ramble on a bit.
Yeah, but I think that's really a case, I think, of speaking to the bride and groom and saying, like, you know, this is, your speeches are, long speeches is a party killer. Yeah, it can be if it's not like, if it hasn't got content and it hasn't got punchlines and things like that, you know, you don't want it to just ramble on for the sake of it.
I think you're right. And I think the way to look at it isn't, oh, how many speeches and they're all going to do 7 minutes each. It's how long do we want speeches to go on for in total? So let's say we want people speaking for, in total, 30 minutes or the whole night. You need to divide that by how many people are talking and actually make sure they stick to that limit. Yeah. So, you know, if you've got 3 of them, 10 minutes each, bam, you're done. That's it. Yeah. No more.
Yeah, I think going back to what you were saying about how many speeches and how they should run out, I think personally that it should be, what you said, entrance, walk in, blah, 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 cake, and then...
Get 1 in.
Get maybe 2 in.
Get 2 in, okay,
Get 2 in. And I personally think the magic number is between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Because you'll have...
4.5.
4.5. Yeah. All right, that's 4.5. Yeah, I mean, you'd have... you'd have... the father of the bride or groom, one of the two, or even both.
Yeah.
And then a sibling, or 2, whatever, whether it's joint or not. And then the second lot after mains and desserts. Yeah. And then that it's normally a best man, or and then the group. And
talking of speeches, obviously, content-wise, obviously, you know, the groom's probably got the easiest speech.
Oh yeah.
Because he's just
thank yous.
Thank everyone. Wife looks amazing. Do you want to come for my first dance? Boom. That's it. Yeah. But the rest, I've seen some very, very interesting speeches and some completely inappropriate stories. But I think that's what makes these parties. Like, I still remember speeches that were so outrageous. I don't think they offend anyone. It's just like, oh my God, you've actually said that at a wedding. And it's like, that was funny. Like, that was good.
I think there's a fine line between absolutely ripping the crap out of somebody and just like finding that classy balance. Like, you don't want to go. You don't want to go.
Have you heard anything really bad?
Well, nothing springs to mind right now.
I've got one, but it's a drug reference. I don't know if I can say it.
Probably.
Should we say it?
Well, say
It was to do with. It was to do with. I'll just tell you the first bit, and then you can guess the second
just
bit.
Skim over it.
So basically, this guy, the best man, the brother of the groom, he comes on, and to be fair, like it was about 11. It was running quite late, but we were going to 1:30 or something, and so everyone was quite drunk, and they started at 4 o'clock. So he comes on, and he goes, "I've prepared a few lines." So did you know where I'm going with this? He basically said, "Now they're all gone." Right? And I just
clocked what you said.
yeah, and I looked at Alfie, one of our lighting techs. I looked at him and I was like, "Did you just say that?" And everyone was in hysterics for a good like 30 seconds. And I was like, "I don't know. Did that cross the line? Did that cross the line? Did that cross the line?" It seemed to have worked, and everyone was laughing. He might have offended one or two people in there, and you've got to be delicate with some things and some sort of topics that you make fun of. But at the time, it worked, and everyone, I assume everyone laughed.
Have you had any situations where speeches have gone on too long and have gone really awkward?
Yeah, so I mentioned to Vish on a previous episode that I had a father of the groom. He obviously was allocated 5-10 minutes. He ended up going for about nearly half an hour. And you moved my camera.
Sorry, my bad.
Just gonna get Sean to check on it. Is it good? We're good. I know I'm not looking. I'm a bit hungover today. But you don't need to move the camera. Anyway, yeah. So he was talking for about half an hour, and it wasn't anything interesting. It was like, okay, so my son went to this school. He got these grades. Then he moved to this school, and he got these grades. Then he moved to this uni, and he did this. And he just went on and
life story.
It was not even about the meeting the bride, or it was just about him and his life. And like people were like looking at me, and people are thirsty. Their drinks have run out, and the food's getting cold, and you know, it just went on. And I was like, bro, do you not think like in your head like, oh my god, we've got this many speeches to get through, and all this food and all this stuff, and we've only got till midnight. Do you not think like maybe I shouldn't do page 17 and 18? Like, just keep it to a couple of pages. That's enough. Like, that's plenty.
Yeah. I think what you were saying again in the previous pod with Vish about taking some of those speeches out and putting them in previous events. That's a really good way to give somebody give those people the opportunity to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
But not eat into the time of reception because the time is so critical.
Having said this, okay, so my cousin is getting married in, I think, mid-April. In my first cousin, very close cousin. And what I'm trying to get at is people expect to be asked to make a speech. So I expect him to ask me to do a speech. But if he hasn't,
if
he doesn't, I will be offended. But I need to also realize, maybe because we work in the industry, that he might not have the time for me to say a speech and his best man and these people, blah, blah, blah. So you need to be understanding that not everyone's going to get a chance to speak. You know, like, if you get put in a Mendy night to do a speech, just do it. It's not a big deal. Or if you don't get asked, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I had a situation actually a few years ago. I did a wedding, and so the best man, it came to the best man speech, and I was like, okay, cool, no problem. Getting the mic, started talking, blah blah blah. Little did I know, he basically had just got divorced. From his from his ex at the time, who was also a friend of the wedding and was there as well.
Yeah, she was there.
She was there as well. But he ended up going on for half an hour, like talking about like his experience of like.
Oh no!
And it was so.
So he was laying out negative vibes
like guilt
about.
And stuff. I was
my
like,
god!
hey, why
really?
are you doing this? This is just.
And the people look at you. They're like, you're DJ, and they expect you to be like, come on, what's going on? It's like it's not in our control how long someone speaks. And you can't be like to a best man, right? Come on, you've had 15, 20 minutes now. These guys all moving the set around me. I'm just like here. But like you're right. I think that there's a time and a place for everything, and there's a time limit for speeches.
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously with speeches, you get the microphone issue. which
Yeah.
we have to touch on.
Please learn how to hold the mic.
But is
You know?
that their fault?
It's not their fault, but I think just come up to the DJ and just if you're not comfortable, just come up to the DJ. Don't worry, we don't bite.
Yeah.
And just get a bit. Just ask.
Well,
Ask,
there's a few things that I wanted to touch on with mics is, which we're going to talk about is sharing mics. Feedback. If a mic breaks when you're talking and or loses connection, all these things. But going back to what you're saying about not being able to speak clearly on bring the mic close enough basically to your mouth. Should we reintroduce mic stands?
Oh, do you know what? That's a good point. That is a good point. Maybe.
I people think they're ugly. I think they look really cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you got a nice mic stand, with a nice
silver
round
one
base, like round base, that nice stand, nice mic. It can look quite classy. Like,
have you ever been asked for I forgot what they're called. You know when you put the paper on the
podium,
like a podium, yeah. Have you been asked for one of those?
I've not. No.
So for the first time, I think it was the last wedding of last year. Someone asked me for one, and I was like, "That's a great idea." Yeah. If we had a podium and a mic, it's a bit like an award ceremony, but like it might help.
Yeah.
Because then they're standing still. The photographer doesn't have to move about. The mic's there. The speech is there. You can't really go wrong. So
with some people they do like to move about though when they do talk.
That's the thing,
like if you're standing on the dance floor and you want to kind of
interact
or address a certain person, or look around and that, there is that. I mean there is that as an option. Is another big thing to take to an event.
So when you give the mic, are you giving advice on where to hold?
So I would say don't cover the top of the mic, obviously. Yeah, don't do that. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
You want to hold it down below
at the bottom,
the bottom, like in the middle of the actual handle.
Covering the button basically, that bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be holding it pretty much about here. You don't want to be down here.
No.
And you don't want to be flailing it about around as well.
The people tend to.
Because and then that's what you were saying about maybe with something on the podium
still,
then that's a particular one space that they have to.
And usually, obviously, the majority of people give their speeches from the dance floor, the middle of the dance floor. So what I say is, yes, obviously, I try and go up to them before and say, it sounds stupid, but talk into the mic throughout your speech. I also say stay in line with my laptop. So I try and make sure they don't veer off to the left and right too much because of feedback and other various reasons and the video team and whatever. So I say to them, try and stay where the cake was, in line with my laptop, in the middle if you can. But I think with speeches that are on the dance floor, it's awkward because you got head table usually that side, DJ that side. So where are they looking? Like, do you look at the head table? I suppose you have to look at the head table.
That's space, but then really that's who you're addressing, isn't it? You're there for the couple. You're generally going to be addressing them. Like most of what you're talking about is going to be about.
I just feel like I don't think I've ever given a speech at a wedding reception.
I've done one.
Was it good?
I can't remember.
It was good then.
I mean, it wasn't. Well, I don't know. I'd had a few bevs before, so I was
dangerous, isn't it?
I was a bit charged.
So if you're giving a speech, you want to go early in it, really.
Yeah. You don't want to get too charged. I think I remember it was very, very early on. I did it for my brother's wedding. It was back in must be about 10, 11 years ago.
Wait, I met your brother in India randomly, right?
Yeah, it was his wedding.
Oh yeah, okay, right. That was so weird, by the way.
Was so random.
Was he just at the hotel on holiday?
He was just on holiday.
And I saw him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it's no. I think I clocked that you were out in India.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't you guys link up if you're
yeah, we were in the same area. Literally.
You went to go for a munch and stuff.
Yeah, we went out. Oh, that place was amazing. I still remember it was called Daba. Oh my god, unbelievable food. Anyways, back to speeches. Yeah,
you're hungry.
I'm hungry now. Yeah. Obviously, then you got your groom speech, which is usually top table. And again, that's a bit of an awkward one. I feel like they should not do it from the head table. What do you think?
What do you mean? Like if the groom groom comes down to the
I think they should come down because firstly, if he's standing up on the head table, he can't really. He's only halfway. Like you can only see half of him from the front, and then you got usually like 3 or 4 people either side of him, so the people on the side can't really see him. Just get on the dance floor, man.
Yeah, I guess so. It kind of makes it a little bit more
And you can do an
interactive.
intro
Yeah,
as well. Like,
yeah,
the ladies
yeah,
and gents, man
yeah.
of the hour, bam, let's go.
Do you play intro music for
Yeah.
when people walk on?
Yeah. I actually let them decide it
Yeah.
as well. So I'll email when I'm speaking to the bride and groom about playlist and entrance songs and all that kind of stuff. I'll say, have you got any songs for particular people's speeches? You can ask them, or you can stitch them up. The groom will give the best man, like Barbie
Yeah.
girl, whatever. Just as a joke. Who let the dogs out? Here come the girls. All that for that. Just to take the mick out of your mates. But yeah, generally I let them decide, and then I usually use things like Feels, Calvin Harris, or Lean on Major Lazer, just the intro, the intro.
Yeah.
And I just loop that, and I just keep that. When they're done, I just fade that up. That's what I do.
Yeah. To be fair, I'll do the same. I'll use some sort of instrumental that's like, nothing too crazy, but it's just kind of, it's a filler.
Exactly, it is a filler.
Yeah. What about handing the mics over? Do you have somebody, do you have one of the team who does that, or do you expect people to pass the mics between each other?
Some people, and I totally get it, because you've just given a speech in front of 500 people. And you're just finished. Your first thought is not going to be, oh, I need to turn the mic off and give it back to the DJ.
Yeah.
That's obviously, you're going to go and say hi to the bride and groom and give them a hug or whatever, and then the mic's there. So first thing I do is, if I got no one to go and collect it, I'll turn the mic off, that one, and then I'll play the instrument and I'll just go and get it myself. I did an event.
That's if you haven't got one of the squad.
Because even if you do have another one,
if you haven't got,
if I haven't got, if there's no other staff, then I'll go and get it or send someone. But last week I did a wedding, and the wedding planner did all the mic running for me.
Oh, amazing!
I know. I was like, this is unbelievable.
To be fair, I have spoken to some planners, and I've said, would you be okay in doing this?
Yeah.
If you've got nothing else going on during this time,
Yeah.
Nine times out of 10,
They don't mind.
They don't mind to do that, and that's really, really helpful.
Honestly, mate, like they go straight over, grab the mic, give it back to us, and then we can prepare it for the next person and announce what's happening at the same time.
They know who the next person is.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times we don't know. So what I tend to do is, if I don't have the luxury of having a planner there, I'll always ask the couple, who are your speeches? Who are those people? And get them to introduce them. Get them to come up to me.
Yeah.
Or tell
I've
me
started
what
asking for pictures
they are.
of people.
Yeah.
I need a picture of the brothers and the sisters and whoever. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, or just get them to come up, or get them to tell me what table numbers they're on.
Yeah.
So that at least I can be aware that this is where they're coming from.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
So,
and the other thing, the last thing I wanted to touch on, we haven't got long, is sharing mics.
Yeah.
Are you for or against, or you just everyone has their own, or what if there's a group of 3? Like, how does it?
Well, it's a bit of a tricky one. This is the thing with a group of 3. Yes, it's nice to have 3 mics, but then chances are
that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, most of the time you might have 2 cordless and 1 corded.
Yeah.
On you.
Yeah, exactly.
And because 9 times out of 10 you got most people you got is 2.
Yeah.
But you need to know in advance if there's a third person, how are they interacting, and is it a 3-way speech, or are they doing 3
This is
separate
the
parts?
thing. If you're sharing a mic, some of the punchlines get missed.
Yeah.
Because you say a joke and then I'll say something else. And to pass the mic, I think you need to have your own mic.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I think it's definitely better to have your own mic when it's like multiple people. Definitely.
Well, there we go. Speeches.
Yeah.
Basically, just cancel them.
Cancel them.
No, so that was our podcast on speeches. We could have talked for hours on this, to be honest,
tell me
but you're probably getting bored now, so we're going to wrap it up. But don't forget, you can listen back to it. We're on YouTube, on Apple Podcast, Spotify. You're better at these outros. You know it off by heart. And if you think of someone who's getting married or planning a wedding, send this to them. It might be useful for them, or any of the previous episodes for the Musical Movements podcast.
I'm Ambo Magic. This is DJ Shraii.
Peace.
We'll see you soon. Peace.